Hello. Yes, everybody, welcome back to Football United TV. Sorry, I forgot where I was. And we are here for the Premier League weekend show. We're just having a bit of a laugh before we went live. And I thought I'd do that thing and just capture it before we did. Let's get into the intro. Let's go. It's going to be a good one. Yes, everybody, welcome back to the Premier League weekend show on Football United TV. I'm joined by Marley, Talk MU, and Anthony. How are we all doing, guys?
Not too bad, mate, and you?
Well, you've only just seen me a minute ago, but we're all good.
It's
Been
a long time.
Huh?
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, isn't it, eh?
Yeah.
How are you doing, Talk? It's been a little while.
Yeah, I'm all right. I've just still got the giggles from before we went live, trying to stop myself, but I can't. Oh, dear. Come on,
Marley,
guys,
how you doing, mate? You all right? And have you got any remedies for talking these giggles? Is there anything you can do? Anything that around the house he can use?
I don't even know what he has around his house, mate. You know, like very different culture.
You would want to know.
Yeah, no, very different culture, mate. Very different culture.
Yep. See, because this is the one
Couldn't
thing
tell
that Marley understands is that I'm not actually from the Earth. I'm actually from a planet called Zog near Mars. So
you're from near Mars. You're not actually from
not actually Mars. No, I haven't got that accolade, bro. It's near Mars.
No, yeah. I keep saying Mars. It's actually a planet near it. It's a very, it's a very high grade kind of xenophobia that I actually do when I say Mars. So I apologize for that.
Total. How did you become a Man United fan then?
Well, it's the ambient airwaves from the old radio broadcasts. Like back home, we're still getting the early stuff from the 1960s and 70s. So I'm listening to games from then. So don't know if I'll actually be any much use to you today in terms of the weekend's games, because I've not heard them yet.
You know what happens, Anthony? From his planet, the only things he can see from Earth are the Great Wall of China and Harry Maguire's head. That's why he chose United.
And Harry Maguire's head's bigger, yeah.
There it is.
Well, let's go straight on into it then. Let's delve into the Premier League weekend results. And we're starting off with, a sad one for Watford for the Hornets. Losing 3-0 to Norwich, who, with Dean Smith taking over, looks like they're bouncing back up. Watford doing terribly. And I think you can pretty much say that Ranieri's time at Watford is almost up. Marley,
I think it was sacked.
It is. It's already sacked.
Now, yeah. I think
it's gone. There you go. How long ago was that? Because I know this morning, this afternoon.
3 hours ago.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. Wow. There you go. He's been sacked. So they'll probably get a coach in the next few hours, because that's what Watford are like, aren't they, Marley?
Not looking too good for them, is it? But then again, like for a while now, I've been thinking that, and I know that doesn't look good for Arsenal because of the weekend, but I've been thinking that Burnley, Norwich, and Watford are going to go down comfortably. I don't even think it's going to be too much of a struggle for the other teams too. I think these teams are really they're much weaker than the rest of the competition. And I did think Watford was going to win this game though, because Norwich, they really are the punching bag. But yeah, that happened. Ranieri's out. I don't have much to say, mate. Feel bad for João Pedro. He's a good player.
You can't say too much on that, Anthony, can you? It's just dismal from
No.
Watford and quite. I mean, look, let's take a look at Norwich here at the moment. They play really well. Their fans have been given a lot of jip to their performances, and finally they get something probably the fans deserve, because they bounce up and down more than a bloody yo-yo, mate, don't they, in the Premier League? So it's good for the fans, right?
Yeah, it's good for the fans. I mean, fair play to Norwich. I mean, it is like a relegation battle. I did actually tip not Watford to win this one. Actually, I think I went 2-1 or something like that. But I mean, fair play to them. It was like on your stream, we were discussing Norwich last time. So those imaginary goals, they must come true after a while. So yeah,
yeah, we did.
So
our last stream was about the imaginary cheering and the fact that they don't get any goals, and they pretend to cheer when they don't score and the ball goes wide or something, and then they go and win. So
they go and win. Yeah.
It's like one of those things, and it's like, well, actually, we've actually got to cheer now, like real cheer.
Yeah, they all cheer, come like the stadium, smiley faces. Oh, you may. But yeah, I mean, fair play to them. It was a good game. I mean, and free clean sheet, 3 goals. What more can you ask for?
Said it perfectly, didn't he? Talk pretty much. Well done to Norwich, right?
Yeah, look, Watford are in a really bad place, aren't they? They're on the slippery slope, and I mean, to be fair, Norwich aren't too far behind. They're only on 15 points themselves. So, I think it's 15 or 16 anyway. But, that it looks, for Norwich, yeah, you think, oh, it's looking okay. But realistically, is it? You know what I mean? So I think they could find themselves in real danger too of taking the drop. Yeah. But yeah, Ranieri, I mean, I don't know. You look at what he did there with that, the impossible. He made the impossible possible, in that season with Leicester. And you have to ask a question. It's not all down to everybody else being shit that season. It's just not. Even though everybody else might not be on it, you still got to be at your absolute best, game in, game out. And he managed to do that with a team that, let's have it right, should not have won the Premier League. And I find it very bizarre that he finds himself in this position now where he's kind of looked at a bit down upon, as if he's like some kind of, figure of fun, when he's not. He's actually a serious manager. I think he's quite a good manager. I think somebody has to give him the time and the tools, more so, to get a job done somewhere. Because,
he always gets them. Yeah. That's what I was going to say as well. He was at Fulham, wasn't he? And there was a lot of disrepute there about who takes penalties and stuff like that. That shouldn't really happen. Like, that shouldn't be the reason why like teams are fighting amongst each other because of stuff like that. And that's the reason why, I think, one of the reasons why he got sat there. But I agree with you as well also on the fact that I think with Leicester, they weren't, as a team on paper, they didn't look like they were the team that were going to win it, of course. But he has that sort of character about him that makes a team like that, just say, up yours, we're going to go out and do it all. Vardy is on form. Morgan, who's like 35, 34, like a defender, was having a fantastic time. I think that's because of like his power, Ranieri, to get the best out of players. But with Watford, he come out, I believe, in the press saying about, like, I don't want players that only play for themselves. I want players that play for the fans, for the club and that. But look, he's been in there quite long enough now to have sorted out that problem, right, Marley?
I just want to say that season from Leicester, guys, like, I'm sorry, I'm not a religious person, but that was divine intervention right there. Like, there's no good explanation for that. Like, I hear you when you're talking about Ranieri, but the man's 70 years old. It's not like he doesn't have a lot of years left in his career. At least I don't think so. So, like, dude, the team wasn't supposed to win, so they were lucky that most clubs had an off season. I can't even say that Arsenal had an off season, because we're pretty much in average with what we were doing, and better than what we've been doing now, actually. But that was just hand of God, mate. That was a very well scripted season by God himself. And on talking about the table, I think Watford's at 14 and Norwich is at 16. But Watford has 2 games to play. They're 2 games behind. So
yeah, there you go then. So Yeah, still very precarious for Norwich, and they have to keep their eye on that, because as we know, we are running out of games now, so there's no more games. Once the games are, start getting thin on the ground, there comes a point where it's like, we get the must wins. Every game right now for them 4 teams there right at the bottom, it may even be more than 4, but those 4 in particular, it's a must win. Absolutely. Same for Newcastle. I think Newcastle have they climbed above Norwich now, Newcastle?
I'm not sure.
No, they're 1 point behind with one game in hand as well.
But you got to look at Burnley, haven't you, as well, Talk, because they're like 4 games behind a lot of relegation teams. So they've got a lot of points to pick up as well. And that's scary. Like you said, for Newcastle, I mean, they've got to win a lot of their games, haven't they?
I think they've got to win every game.
Pretty much.
If Everton doesn't wake up, like they could be in a relegation battle as well.
We'll get to them. We'll get to them. This one was a surprise actually, and it's drop points from the numero uno at the top of the table, Man City, 1-1. And I mean Southampton were. I texted you, didn't I? Talk. They were 2-0 up at one point, but then it got taken away, didn't it? That goal, so they were 1-0. City pulled it back. Dropping points, Southampton. Hassan Hudl. There you go. I said it right. Has done another job. Another good one. Sorry, I always do it like that. Marley, what do you make of this result, mate, for Southampton first, I guess, because pretty good, right? I mean, it's difficult to beat City, home or away. Or
they
draw.
Didn't. They drew, yeah.
I mean, anything.
Great result for Southampton. Formed the win for City. No one's going to care about this result. It probably means they're going to win the league by 15 points and not 17. Like, it's not going to make a difference. Just a little fart in the wind.
A little fart in the wind. Right, Anthony? Because you live in a windy part, don't you, eh?
Definitely. It was on the last stream. Things went south, folks. Things went south, but just quietly. But yeah, this was a good win This was a good draw point for Southampton. I mean, obviously they had that goal disallowed. What you said, Matt. They actually played well. I thought they played really well. Their back 4 was actually, it reminded me of like the old Arsenal from years ago. There was always talking, there was chatting, corresponding to each other sort of thing, which obviously cancelled out some of the attacking opportunities for Man City. So,
what was that?
Yeah,
it reminded me of the old Arsenal, and it's just your face was sort of like a bit like I'm intrigued to know a bit more about
that.
Yeah, okay. I'll tell him some news. I'll give him some facts after the stream. Yeah, and then we can do a stream on it, the old Arsenal. But yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, what they played, good attacking opportunities. I actually worked with a Man City fan, and he was bitterly disappointed with this result. So he had a bit of stick, but I mean, fair play Southampton.
Come on then, Ralph Hasenhüttl, right?
It's 9 points between Man City and Liverpool now, isn't it? 3 wins. So I mean, anything can happen. Everybody's talking about Man City winning the league, which I think they will. But depending, I think Liverpool got Man City coming up within the next few weeks. So, if they can beat Man City, is all to play for, really. So, it's not really, it's not so many points as what people thinks it is. Like, let's give the Premier League to Man City now. No.
No, they're a game ahead as well. So if they win that and they beat City, they're 3 points behind. It's not too much. I just don't see City dropping too many points.
I don't. No.
Yeah, I think like even Tottenham are like close to being third again. So if they get some of their games in hand, won. So it's one of those things. Talking it. What did you think of Southampton and City in this game, mate? And it's nice to see City dropping points, right?
Yeah, look, it's always a pleasure for Man United fans to see City drop points. But I mean, putting it into context, it's like I agree with what Marley says. It doesn't mean anything at all, to be fair. Yeah, and let's have it right. That's the perfect game for City to have that blip. If it had been a Liverpool or a Chelsea, or even a Man United, I think it would have had a more damaging effect. But as with it being Southampton, a team that is difficult to beat and break down and get in behind, like City tried to do.
I think you included United in that list to make yourself feel good, mate.
Well, no, but that's the way it is. Sorry, Maya. Sorry, I didn't mention Arsenal. Sorry.
No, we shouldn't be mentioned there, mate. We should not.
So you know what? I think, again, like I say, I don't even think that it won't even be a problem for Pep and his squad. It's just a case of it's not point. I don't think they'll look at it as points lost. It's a point gained. We've gained a point in a difficult away game. So you know what? Onwards and upwards. They're in a good position. Like Marley and Anthony have said, it's City winning the league. I've been saying that since even before the start of the season. They're going to win the league. There's no two ways about it. So it's not really, for me, it's not such a big deal.
No, same here. We'll move on then. Move on. Well done, Southampton. But obviously, City probably not really fazed by just gaining 1 point there. Man United 1, West Ham 0. Some people say controversial goal. I'm cool with it. It's just maybe the VAR decisions that I'm not cool with in football. But Marley, what do you make of this result for United, mate? And look, West Ham, they're great, aren't they? And they're a tough team to get points from. So especially Old Trafford, where people get points for fun these days. So I'm happy with the result. But what do you think about it?
I don't want to talk about your victory, mate. You'll have the two of you to do that. You guys do you, yeah. It's true, United, mate. That's not my job.
It is today.
Mate,
speak.
I get really frustrated and quite honestly, like it's a bad feeling to have, but jealous because every other big team, they score goals towards the end of the games. That never happens to us. Never. I mean, it does to draw against Palace at home, but not to freaking win games. So makes me feel really salty. Makes me feel bad. I think it'll look like an offside, but we're the only team that gets screwed. I'm used to that. Not really. Still get sour.
If you're feeling salty, then lay off the salted peanuts, Marley. That's all I'm going to say to you, okay, mate? Is that what you're eating? I bet you are, aren't you? Anthony.
Popcorn.
Oh, close. Salted popcorn. Okay, take that. Anthony, what about you, mate? What do you think of this? What this means for Man United, mate? And what does it mean for West Ham as well? Because they've got lots of fixtures coming up. They've got Europa League, round 32. That's a very long journey to get to the final, isn't there, in that one? So lots of games coming up for them, and they've lost 2 in a row now in the Premier League. So what do you think it means for them? What's your thoughts?
Well, first thing I want to say is you lucky bastards. Unbelievable. That's what I'm going to say. That I thought when that some people are saying it was onside, some people are saying it was offside, and then obviously it went to VAR. I don't know. It was a very close call. I felt that he was edging more towards the offside than the onside. I'm not, but but yeah, I mean, you won it. You scored. I think was it the last minute of the game? It was literally the last minute of the game, wasn't it? Man United scored. Last minute and a half.
Close enough when it took.
Yeah.
92, 93, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so after fluking that win for Man United, I did feel sorry for West Ham, to be honest with you. I mean, they're it's like what you said. They haven't had recent run of form. The last few games. Obviously David Moyes, he's actually come out and said he really needs a striker. That's both West Ham, believe it or not. That's us as well as a team as well. So that they need someone in there that can actually score them, a few goals this season. Just because I think he wants to claim that 4th spot as well, which is rightly so, because they're in the running for that 4th spot as well, because that 4th spot is so wide open at the minute between 3 or 4 different teams. So, but yeah, so I'm sorry for West Ham, but I mean, listen, we got 38 games this season. If they get a striker, they could do well.
That's a good shout about a striker, isn't it? Talk. I mean, obviously, we did the watch along, mate, on the Man United agenda. Big up to them. And it was like one of those grippy, squeaky bum times, wasn't it? talk. You know what I mean? Right at the end, like a Man United win, like we sometimes do win when we don't necessarily play our best, but it was nice to see, wasn't it?
Well, that's exactly the point. You know, we some parts of the game we were good. We were good. I do see improvements under Ranić, and so to win in that fashion, just as we were discussing the fact that we're a never give up team, and what do? We just don't give up. We didn't give up, and we went right to the death. In terms of the offside, he wasn't offside because, again, his feet were behind the line alongside the other player's feet, and it was his elbow. His elbow doesn't give him any advantage because he can't play the ball with his elbow. So he can't play his ball with any part of his arm. So it's a nonsense. You know what I mean? He wasn't offside. He was onside.
I think his head was offside, mate.
It wasn't.
I think his head was.
If you go looking back, Marley, go back and look, bro, and you'll see it was just his arm, his elbow. His elbow was over the line. But I said at the time, Matt, when we were doing the watch along, when we scored, I went mad. And then I said, hold on. VAR now saying, don't rule it out for F's sake. I think I was starting swearing a lot. And then you know what? No, they give it because, like I said, he wasn't in. He had no advantage at all. No, he wasn't his feet or anything like that.
Yeah,
that's something laughing at.
You said you didn't know if you swore. I bet you owed a swear jar at the Man United agenda about 50 quid on that one stream.
Yeah.
I was watching the stream and my missus turned around, she said, "Who's that swearing? Come on, you fucking bastard!" Yeah,
yeah, I mean, you know what it's like when you're watching your TV, you get passionate about it, and you get involved and stuff. And
oh yeah. When you're watching them, you know what I mean. You get like that. Effing this, and it's understandable. Let's move on then to. I think a shot because we're talking about West Ham. You are muted, by the way, Marley.
His head is totally outside. Offside, sorry.
I knew he was watching that. I knew he was watching it.
Yeah, dude. I got it. He told me to. Dude, when the Martian tells me to do something, I do it. He told me to do it. I'm looking at it right now. His head is outside. And it doesn't matter that his head's not helpful. It's a freaking rule. Yeah. If you have
I will
any
not
part of
be
your body,
defeated
it's
from a man who was.
That's what?
Yeah,
the only part of your body. The only part of your body that doesn't count in the offside rule is the arms.
Yeah.
So if the head was offside, it's supposed to be offside.
Yeah, but that is a part of his arm. But it's not actually his head. He's put his arm inside of himself, and
Of course.
But you want to make talk?
Let's move on then to a shock result. Like I was just about to say, that Leeds obviously beating West Ham and then go on to lose to Newcastle at home. And that's a good result for Newcastle. They needed the win. Marley, what do you make of this result, mate? Newcastle scraping off the bottom of the table, are they now?
Yeah, they're not getting relegated, mate. I know, like, most people should want for that to happen because it delays in 1 year the process of them being extremely dominant in the market. But I don't see it happening. I really don't. They're probably going to be finishing the league in like 12th or 13th. They're going to be bringing a couple more players still. And you have 3 teams that are going to struggle till the end of the season in Watford, Norwich, and Burnley. So I really don't see any problem for them. I see them going past Everton as well. And Leeds, mate, the number of players they have in the squad and the style of play that El Loco Bielsa plays in there, like it's gonna have its ups and downs, always. So a 1-0, like it's Leeds, in my opinion, it's actually a team that's gonna batter you or that's gonna get battered by you. That's the standard for me. So a 1-0 result in their games in general, like that surprises me.
Yeah. Anthony, agree on that? Like, it's surprised that they didn't get a goal. I mean, they got like 3 past West Ham away.
Yeah.
week and nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I think don't get me wrong. I mean, they're not a bad team. I mean, obviously, despite where they are in the league, but it's like what you said in games. They like this game now. They lose 1-0. Game before that, they score 3 goals. You know, and they sort of they're a bit iffy. Sometimes they could play well against certain opposition, and and vice versa. But I'd tell you what, fair play to Newcastle. I mean, I tipped Newcastle at the beginning part of the season. Within the first month or so, to go down, to actually get relegated. And then obviously when they got bought Eddie Howe in, a couple of players now in the transfer window, it seems to be paying off, but slowly. But it depends if they can get a couple of more players in this window, Newcastle. There is talks that they're after a defender, one of our defenders, Rob Holding, they're after, but whether they get him, they could do. But I mean, yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I like to see them in the Premier League next season because I'm a bit old school on there. Like I like to see teams like Newcastle stay in the Prem, So, but
I would like to. Do you think? Yeah. You think Leeds? You think Leeds are going to struggle? Talk? Do you think they might be in the relegation battle themselves?
Well, do you know what I said at the start of the season, or even before the start of the season? I said, I'll put Arsenal and Leeds to be the 2 teams fighting it out for that 5th and 6th spot. So Leeds have been a massive shock to me that they're so inconsistent, whereas Arsenal are not. Because like I said, I expected Arsenal to have that, to be able to have that kind of improvement that would get them into that kind of area of the table, which is looking favourable for Arsenal right now, that they will finish in European spot. So for Leeds to kind of fall off the cliff a bit and be so inconsistent, yeah, it is a bit. They have a lot of injuries as well. Marcelo Bielsa is a staunch believer in his own ways and tactics, and he's not going to change it. He just won't change. But I don't think they're in any serious danger of getting relegated, if I'm honest with you. I think there's too much there when it really, really comes down to the nitty gritty. I think there's too much quality there in terms of some of their individual players, and obviously Marcelo Bielsa himself being able to, get them at it and get them to get a result when they really need it. So I don't think there's too much to worry about.
No, and you think Newcastle will be safe as well, yeah?
I don't know. I mean, you look at that result, and yeah, it's a 1-0, a bit like us with our 1-0. It's without looking at the game as a whole and looking at their performance and spurned chances, say by Leeds and blah blah blah. It's hard to tell. I just think that Newcastle, it's a very, like I said to you before about Eddie Howe, he's got a super hard job because he's managing. He's trying to get the club safe and point him in a new direction. Yeah. But he's also got this new big takeover. He's got the players to keep on track and calm, because a lot of these players are trying to prove themselves that they should be staying at the club because, who wouldn't want to be staying at Newcastle right now and getting an extension on your contract when you're already a player there? You know what I mean? Yeah. You're like, I want to be part of this. So he's got a lot going on, Eddie Howe, and he's, I'm not sure if he'll actually see it through. I really don't. I'm not so sure. I'm not at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a difficult job for him. I really do, especially that you're saying that you've got to win literally every game, or at least draw a few games and win every game. It's they've got a task just to not get relegated. That is, you know what I mean? Because of course 3 clubs have got to go down. Someone's got to go down. Yeah. I kind of feel it's going to be Newcastle just because of that. It's a bit of an omen, I think, like for other clubs. Like, they got these owners in and they think, oh, we're going to be all right. We're going to splash the cash in January. They've not really, I mean, apart from Trippier, they've not really been able to get anybody else that I feel that get them out of the relegation battle. They're looking at that guy from Seville, and I know
Lingard.
Oh, Martial's going there, no, to Seville.
I can't see him going there.
But yeah,
they want the Brazilian defender, right? Diego Carlos. He's a good player.
Yeah. For Man United. Sorry, go on, Molly.
No, you go. Oh.
No, yeah,
All I was going to say was the Lingard connection. That's probably the only.
I heard Martial today for Seville. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe there's two links there. Go on, Marley. Go on. Sorry.
I love the rumors that they wanted to raid Arsenal by getting Leno, Holding, El Neni, and Aubameyang, but I failed to see the logic behind that. Like, what are you trying to do? Like, I love it. Maybe they're not fans.
I know why, because Everton are going to get them, because that's what you usually do. You give all your players to Everton, so there's no deals with Newcastle.
Yeah, maybe they want to stop Everton from getting them. Yeah, that makes sense, because right now they're competing. But I think you guys are over. I don't know. It's a bit exaggerated. Like, Newcastle's not in that much trouble. You say they got to pretty much win every game from now till the end. I feel like if they have a mid-table, end of the season, they should be fine. If they win like half their games, if they win like 40% of their games, they should be fine. Everyone else around them, they're not getting any points either.
No. I mean, they used to say, like, to survive the Premier League, you had to pick up at least 35 points minimum for survival. But
that's 20 more points for them.
Yeah. So I think after games, like what you said, because after their games, if they win after their games, they've survived anyway. If they can win after,
that's a lot of points to get, though.
It is still a lot of points. Yeah.
Yeah, for Newcastle at the moment, it's a struggle.
Yeah, but you said win almost every game. You think about that. That's 6 wins and 2 draws.
Yeah.
In 17 games, it's not marvelous.
Yeah.
That's 8 games. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like what you said: 6 wins and 2 draws is possible.
And that's if everybody else doesn't do well at all.
But you see Watford, Burnley, and Norwich going on amazing runs and winning a bunch of games.
I see Watford doing something.
Really?
Something tells me that because they always get out of it. They're going to get somebody in now. They're going to go get somebody in who's going to pull them out of that fight. It'll probably be someone like Nigel Pearson or something like that again. You can see it. Okay, let's move on then. Brentford.
He's there. He's there. Nigel Pearson's there.
Yeah, like I said, they'll get him out because obviously it's Bristol. Brentford 1, Wolves 2. Guys, what do you make of this result? Wolves doing amazing. They actually could probably make Europe this year the way that they're going at the moment. I know they had a very funny start to the season, but it's unfortunate for Brentford as well because they do really put a battle in, but Wolves just prevail with the amazing, might I add, my player of the Premier League weekend is probably Moutinho. We'll talk about that at the end, but Wolves, Marley, shoot. Tell us what you're thinking about this.
I mean, they're doing great. Some people are starting to put their name within the top 4 mix. I think that's a little too much. Their squad's going to prove a little too short for that. But yeah, mate, their recent run of form, like it's pretty much them and City. So 5 games without a loss. They won like 4 of the last 5. That's very impressive. I don't remember what the other games were. I'd have bet that they would have beaten Brentford. I knew that Brentford couldn't sustain the form they held in the beginning of the season anyway. So it doesn't surprise me. But yeah, Wolves are doing great, mate. I can see them fighting for like 6th place, something like that.
Anthony, what about you, mate? What's your thoughts?
Well, I had this game down for a draw, but I mean, fair play to Wolves. It's like what Charlie said. They've won so many games at the minute. They haven't got a bit like us. They haven't got a prolific goal scorer like a striker up front, have they? But they're scoring. Their goal scorers are all over the pitch. You know, from their attack to their midfield. You know, sort of thing. So yeah, and do you know what? As an Arsenal fan, I could be slightly worried, but it wouldn't surprise me if they finished above us. Seriously, it could happen.
It could, yeah.
You know, it could happen. And we can finish like 7th, and they could finish 6th. I think they're a top candidate definitely for the top 6. And they'd be playing Europa League next season. Definitely be in there.
Good shout, Bruno Lage. Lage, is that right? Say it like that. I guess Marley will pick me up on that.
Lages.
Bruno Lage.
How do you spell it? Is it Lages? G-E-S.
No, it's just Lage.
Lage, yeah, Lage.
Yeah. What do you make talk of him at the moment coming in? It was quite a big thing to take over coming from Portugal yet again. Fans were sort of like, this getting a Portuguese manager in, like, is this just like sort of a family thing you got going on here? Do you know what I mean? That you want to keep it Portuguese, but it's worked out, and he seems to be a very good manager, and he's getting really good results.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Portugal connection is it's doing well for Wolves. So why if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. So yeah,
summertime, Jazzy Jeff. And if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. Don't try to fix it. Sorry.
Well, look at it. I mean, look, Brentford. It's the mirror image of Brentford. Wolves are in the danger of becoming, because Brentford last season, boom, boom, boom. Now all of a sudden, it's like, whoa, wait a minute, because like we said earlier on in the season about Brentford, they're kind of like the jack of all trades and the master of none. And I said, do you remember when we did this show? And I said, if Thomas Frank doesn't actually focus on one part of the aspect of their game, that is going to almost guarantee them a better chance at surviving this league, they could come a cropper. And that's exactly what's happening, in my opinion. He's not identified what are we really good at here? What's the strongest aspect of our game? Is it counter-attack? Is it, going man for man and the press? Is it, whatever, any kind of style of football that they choose to do, in any given game. But the fact that they keep trying a bit of this, try a bit of that, we're not bad at a bit, not bad at this, not bad at that. No, that will not continually see you through in a league. You have to find an identity. You can't be, we're not Frankenstein. It's like a Frankenstein in a club. You know what I mean? You have to find your identity and go with it, stick to it, and carry that forward, and then slowly then adapt. I think this is where a lot of clubs go wrong. They try and, like Sheffield United, when they did what they did, it's the same kind of scenario. You've got to focus on what your strengths are rather than just being a bit good at this and a bit good at that.
Yeah. Completely agree.
Brentford are actually like very much so in the relegation battle as well. They've lost 4 in a row, and they're like, what, like 2? No, it's more than that. Okay, they're 8 points off the relegation zone. They're 2 games. Ahead.
They've also given their manager a 2-year contract extension, haven't they? So that's good to hear. Brentford.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they're not doing well now.
No,
it's good news for them. It's good news for him. I mean, look what he's done in the chat. I mean, like what he's done in Championship, gotten promoted, and look what they were like in the Prem. I mean, look, they beat us 2-0 first game of the season, Brentford. I was like, well, you know what I mean? So, they've had a good spell this season.
Mate,
I don't think they'll go down. They'll stay up.
The 4 of us in 7 cones would have beaten Arsenal that game. Easily, comfortably.
Yeah.
I thought you got that erased out of your memory. Let's push on then to this game. Everton 0, Aston Villa 1. Gerrard getting the better of those Evertonians who were giving him a hell of a lot of jip on the weekend. I saw him. I don't know if you saw it when he walked off the pitch at the end of the game, and he just eyeballed the fans all the way off, like a smirky sort of eyeball, like.
Yeah.
Like
who's that?
Yeah, you can see it on YouTube. Probably Steven Gerrard eyeballing the Toffees fans.
Oh, okay.
Matt was just showing us when he goes out and he wants to go out on the pool. He goes like that, Yeah. You show the pool.
I'm at the bar, like that. Right, darling. No, not really. I'm the one who's always getting the stragglers at the end of the night, mate. Unfortunately. I'm the one at the bar that's having to listen to the emotional divorce conversation from a lady, he left me. Having to pick up the pieces. oh, you know, it'll be all right. It'll be okay. Yeah, let's go and get a doner kebab. You know, that's how my nights end.
Oh, don't mention kebabs, bro.
Oh, I'm really hungry.
Got me going now.
We need to move on then. I'm super hungry. Right, yeah. Everton. Rafa obviously been sacked as well. Difficult times for Everton, and I know the owner or the executive chairman or someone. I think it was Ken. Is it Ken Wright? He got out of his car after the game and spoke to some fans. I heard the audio. Wow. I don't know whether he wanted to do that, but they gave him some truths, and it's very difficult for Everton at the moment, isn't it? Too.
Yeah, well, let me just tell you, Bill Kenwright has been, he's been steering the ship for however many years it is now, since Mashiri bought it.
27 years.
Right? He's been steering the ship, and it's quite clearly not working. It's time for it. Didn't Everton need to shake things up sharpish, if they want to sort of get it out of this absolute mess. It's an absolute mess. The bizarrest, I mean, they first of all tried to, the Carlo Ancelotti, I don't know, at the time, I'm not the only one who was saying it, but you're thinking, what? Are you mad? That's never going to work. Didn't work. Then, Rafa Benitez, again, are you mad? That's never going to work. And again, it didn't work. They need to stop this kind of idea that they've got players at the club and assets at the club that are good enough for a manager like them names to come in and go, oh yeah, dead easy that. Yeah, I'll just go bam, 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 and we're back on it, and we'll get you back up to this and that. No, don't work like that, not at all, because they haven't really got the greatest squad, have they? Let's have it right. I mean,
mostly Arsenal players talk. Mostly Arsenal, ex-Arsenal players.
Well, that's still there you go. Then Arsenal rejects. I mean, you know what I mean.
Awobi. I mean, the list goes on. That's just one player.
All shell and no gunpowder. You know what I mean? It's like, empty cartridges. It's like firing blanks, isn't it? It's like bang, and you're like, what's that? Oh no, it's just Arsenal. They're just making a noise. They're not actually threatening anybody. They're just, going through the motions, treading water.
I'll let Marley answer you on that one. I'm gonna keep out.
Stick to the topic.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
It shows like what?
I got distracted, mate. I got distracted. What's up?
We were talking about Everton, the fact that they steal a lot of players from you, and it hasn't really worked out for them like it hasn't for you. What do you make, Marley, of this result as well for Villa?
First of all, few things selling Iwobi for over 40 million, letting someone steal from us, mate. I'm confused.
Well, I am, because
that was like the only good piece of business I've ever seen Arsenal do in my lifetime. So, but
it feels like a mistake. It's not, I remember your fans were moaning about that, him going. So I don't know. Yeah, it's like one of those things. It didn't work for him. It didn't work for you, then, did it?
Mate. I don't know what fans you're talking about. Maybe Nigerian fans because of the connection, right? Like because he plays for Nigeria, but he was never a good player, like for Arsenal. Like he was never even decent. Like he was
Anthony,
someone that came from the bench to do absolutely nothing. But just like from this game, mate, Everton's in trouble. They're having a nightmare. They should not be where they are. They have a much better squad than this. I know. Like things have been weird, but they probably have like the 10th best squad in the league. I don't think that's saying too much. And when it comes to Villa, they're good. They're good. They've brought some exciting players. I think people overhype them too much. They overhype Steven Gerrard a little too much. I think that has a lot to do with the fact that he's an absolute idol at Liverpool. That's a huge club. And it has a lot to do with the fact that most Arsenal fans feel like Britney Spears' father is a better manager than Arteta, right? So like they're always gonna look at semi-decent jobs, and they're gonna think, yeah, that guy's better than Arteta. Look at what he's doing. What has he been doing? Like Villa hasn't gone in one good run of games. Not one. But they play like kind of well. They should be beating Everton, mate. Like we're the only teams that are not gonna be beating Everton now. They suck. Too bad for the pigeon.
There you go. He's just said it. He's just said it. Anthony, what do you feel about that? You look like you all right? Are you constipated? What's up? You all right?
No, I'm trying to get a vision in my head of Britney Spears' dad managing the Arsenal. I can't see it.
Free Arsenal.
What can you see, mate? What can you see from this result, though? What are your thoughts?
Well, from this result, I mean, obviously, good win for Aston Villa. Let's be honest. I mean, they got good players in. To a certain degree, Everton did get a few, not quality players, but just sort of average players. You know what I mean? So they got the average sort of players there, here and there. I think they'll slightly improve. Everton. The only reason why I say this is because it happened before. When Duncan Ferguson took over as temporary, we all know what Duncan Ferguson's like. There's no messing about with Duncan Ferguson, is there? Do you know what I mean? So he'd be the right guy at this time, just to manage him to get the best out of his players, you know, that sort of thing. He won't stand in messing about and that. So the only way they've got to do is play to their strengths, play to how they want like how obviously you want them to play, and I think they'll be all right in the long while. They'll get a couple of wins here and there, and they'll be fine. But whether they get a new manager, I can't see them getting a manager in this window. I can't. Not in January. I think you'd be talking around about most probably mid-Feb, end of February. They might get a new manager. If not,
New manager in end of February.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they can't exactly turn around and say, right, we want they've already had an elite manager there that didn't do too well. Obviously, as in Rafael Benitez, you know, he is an elite manager. I mean, Carlo Ancelotti was their best manager.
He was, mate. 10 years ago, he was. Benitez is not an elite manager anymore. But
his CV says he still is. Look, I'm one of those. I go on the manager's CV of what he won and what he's achieved, and if he's won and achieved that, he is still roughly an elite manager to me.
Yeah, besides Brian Tucker, he's been dead for about how many years? Like,
like I said, sorry, look, with the Everton situation, it's, you know, they're trying to throw money at a problem to fix it, but it's quite clear that ain't going to work. They've got to reset. They've got to get stable, you know.
Yeah.
And first thing they've got to do is get rid of Bill Kenwright out of the board and running things at the club and get new, fresh, you know, new ideas in there to give it a real. It's like
that's what Everton fans said today. Talk, you were absolutely on point.
Well, there you go. So you know what, that's what needs to happen, because otherwise, you know.
How much he worth, this Bill Kenwright? Because I'm not being funny. The last time I heard Bill Kenwright, a rumor.
It's not him. It's the other guy. It's Ham. What's his name? Shearer. Yeah, Sheary.
Right.
Shearer.
Because that Kenwright, he used that Bill Kenwright. He used to be in Coronation Street.
No, he runs it.
Usmanov
he used to be he was an actor in Coronation Street, Bill Kenwright.
So what was the actor's? What was the name and the character?
Don't go to Everton. But
don't go to Everton.
What a great first name.
Isn't Usmanov one of the Everton owners? Or not anymore?
I'm not so sure.
He is. Yeah, he's involved.
Okay.
Yeah, he's involved. Yeah.
That's why you got. That's why they got all your players. That's why. Go on, talk.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what? Out of those teams at the bottom there, I mean, for me, I would say Everton probably got the better chance of being the team to pull away from that mire.
Yeah.
If they trust Duncan Ferguson enough, you know, they've got to give him the trust and say to him, "You're set. Get us away from that danger zone to the end of the season." And, you know, fist bang wallop. I mean, there's talk of Wayne Rooney and all kinds of madness going on. So,
with Derby are in trouble. We're going to do a football politics show about the Derby situation in Middlesbrough as well. And I can't remember the other club that are involved in that situation. Yeah. Who is it? Who's the other club that's involved in that situation? Damn it. Can't remember. I will remember. But yeah, we're going to look at that because that's, I mean, they could go into liquidation. It's that bad. Let's go and move on to actually, yeah, I do. Chelsea 2, Spurs 0 last night. Spurs, I think that this another result that they just can't seem to win against Chelsea at home. I think it's like 30 times now. It's something ridiculous. Some stat about how many times they've gone to Stamford Bridge and not got a win. Marley, what did you make this result for both clubs? Chelsea bouncing back a little bit under some bad form recently.
Mate, I mean, from my standpoint, it was the best possible result after a bomb being dropped in the stadium, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually feel like Spurs has a better chance of. I don't know. Chelsea has a much better team, right? But I trust Conte more than I trust Tuchel. Like, he's done more to prove. So I don't know. I feel like they're going to be more consistent than Chelsea throughout. And so, like, short term, it looked like a good result for me, but not too sure. Did not watch the game, though. I'm assuming it was a good one. Thiago Silva scored, one of my favorite players, but can't comment too much.
Okay. What about you, Anthony?
I watched bits of this game. Yeah, I think at this minute of time, I think with Spurs going away to Chelsea, it's like some kind of omen there, isn't it? They can't really get anything there. You know, they can play well, or Tottenham can go there and play to their strengths and totally come out with nothing. So that unfortunately that's what it is as well. So I it's like what Charlie was saying. I do prefer Conte as a manager to Tuchel, but yeah, I mean, fair play to Chelsea. I did actually predict this game as a 2-2 draw. So, you know, that was what I did. Yeah, a bit optimistic. Yeah. I did thought because of obviously Chelsea knocking Spurs out of the Carabao Cup. I thought Spurs may probably want to take a bit of revenge on them, like sort of thing. But obviously it wasn't to be. But yeah, they're sort of slacking gradually a little bit, Tottenham. But then again, they're still in for a shout for the top 4 as well. So
yeah. What about you, Talk?
Yeah, I mean, it's never in doubt for me, this result. I just couldn't see Spurs under Conte. They're kind of, I think it's if I'm honest with you, it's a bit of a similar situation as what we've just been talking about with Everton for Spurs. It just, to me, that signing did not make any sense at all. Because it's quite clear that Antonio Conte has been making suggestions that listen, I'm doing my best here, but but it's shit. I need better, and that's what he's saying. Daniel Levy is not going to go giving him, hundreds of millions of pounds every window. It's just not. And depending on how long Conte is actually going to stay there, who knows?
18 contract.
So there you go then. So in my opinion, I think, especially the Harry Kane situation as well, if that does not get resolved satisfactorily for Conte, the club, and for Harry Kane, that's just going to be another huge problem on Antonio Conte's plate that he just does not need. And I can actually see this going totally boobs up on Tottenham and Conte leaving in the summer.
Yeah,
I
can
see it.
Yeah.
Trouble is though, what I find weird was when Conte managed Tottenham, it was an 18-month contract he signed. Now Poch, he had 18 months left on his contract at PSG. So it does make you think, like, Conte could go and then Poch could step in.
Yeah, just trading places.
Yeah.
They miss not winning anything by a little less, right?
Yeah, it's because that with Poch, he stated he doesn't like being a manager there. He can't manage Mbappe, Neymar, Messi, and a couple of others. He can't manage these top players, these world-class players, because apparently he finds it too hard work and they're not listening to him. So I read. So
you know what it is, mate? He spent so long in Tottenham. He started winning trophies at PSG. He's getting scratch marks all over his body. He's having to spend fortunes in anti-allergics, all of that. Like, dude, it's bad. It's bad.
Let's move on next week. We are getting near the end, and we've got 3 more games to go through. This one should be quick and easy. I'll let Anthony and Marley take it over from here. Burnley 0.
Hello. Oh yeah, his connection's gone. I think the best thing to do here, Matt, is just to say, you know what, that was a total blip, null and void it.
You know, I think Cousin. I'm going to let Cousin go first. I'll let Cousin go first, and then I'll have my say. Do you want me to go last?
I don't mind, mate. I don't mind. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. That was definitely not fun to watch. It was very freaking frustrating. But a lot of fans are talking about this game as if it's one of our worst performances. Not by a landslide, mate. Arsenal didn't play that crap, if I'm being honest. Our last touch was poor, and our finishing was definitely it was just not there. Lacazette should be scoring that goal and a couple other chances, but we created chances like that. That's just a game that screams that we need a striker, which, by the way, it's not a good excuse, right? We should be able to beat Burnley with half our team missing, and that wasn't even the case. We had most of our squad available. Yeah. So very embarrassing, but the performance wasn't that bad. The team was exhausted. Saka couldn't run anymore. He was like Tomiyasu was the game before. And we just weren't clinical enough because that's a game that was yelling either a goalless draw or 1-0 to the Arsenal. But Lacazette missed that chance to score that 1-0. That was a 1-0 victory. It should have been.
But
that's my
Charlie, this is the Premier League in a nutshell, that result. And the position in the table. That's the Premier League in a nutshell. Yeah. And I agree 100% that. So I'm going to say it right now. I'm just going to agree with everything that Charlie just said.
There you go. Anthony, to quickly sum up, because we've got 2 games left. We've got a few minutes left. Go for it.
Right. When this game started, I watched the first half and I was in my mate's house. And it was absolutely boring, crap, pathetic. I was actually going to go in with... he's got a doll. I was actually going to go in with Fatty Patty at half time. But
now you know that's not true because we all know that Anthony doesn't have any friends, right? So he's telling a lie.
But to be honest with you, cheers, cuz. But to be honest with you, I was watching that game. Lacazette for me was
average.
He was Lacazette. He was lack of threat, lack of pace, lack of goals. I bet when he goes into his missus on the evening and he tells her a sad story, he goes to sleep. So obviously he's getting lack of sex there as well, is he? So that's 4 things he's lacking. And then I think to myself, the best thing that's come out of this Arsenal team, right? Best thing that's come out of Arsenal is this, right? Is that, right?
Hang on,
my Arsenal shirt, right, is actually a signed. I don't know if you can see it. You see the writing is a signed shirt from Freddie Ljungberg.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, see it.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
Nice. That is the best thing that's come out of Arsenal for me.
Nice.
Okay, pretty much wrapped it up. Thank you for showing us that.
The Lacazette thing, honestly, he's good defending. He's a good passer of the ball. He should name himself a CM. It would do well for his career. He could go to Arteta and say, yo, stop your hunt for a CM. Let me play there, me, because I can't shoot the ball anymore, but I can defend. I can actually create a couple of things in there. He should become a number 6, mate. We should go for a striker.
Okay, I'm going to move
on.
Yeah,
we should. DM and a striker.
Going to move on to Leicester 1, Brighton 1, people. What do you make of this result? What do you think? Not really a lot for me to say about that, really. I mean, I think that would have been a draw.
Yeah, I had that game down for a draw. Yeah.
I mean, you would expect. Sorry.
No, go on, talk. You go.
Well, no, I was going to say I mean, for me, if I was going to put, if I had to pick a winner out of those 2, I would have definitely gone with Leicester.
Yeah.
But because let's have it right. Graham Potter is a great manager. He's doing great things, but he's still yet to be given an opportunity to really, you can only grow as big as the room. You can't outgrow the room. You've got to then go into a bigger room and then grow into that one. So he's a bit stuck at the moment, Graham Potter. Whereas Brendan Rodgers has had plenty of more experience at different clubs, big clubs as well. In Scotland, etc., Liverpool. Now he's at Leicester. I would have expected Leicester to come out that with a much better result. So credit to Brighton, to be fair.
Dude, if I'm Newcastle, Graham Potter is actually the guy I'm looking at.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I wonder why they never went down that route. I mean, Eddie Howe, for me, I understand why. But, he talks a good game and all the blah blah. But at the end of the day, he did actually go get. He did get Bournemouth into trouble. And when you're looking at somebody who got into trouble to get a team out that's heading into trouble, it made no sense to me, to be fair. Really. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Anthony?
Well, it's just like what Talk said. You would have favourites. You would have most probably put Leicester obviously down as favourites to win this one. But I mean, obviously, it was a good point, well point, and deserved more so to Brighton than obviously Leicester. I'll give more credit to Brighton. So. But yeah, I mean, there's not really much you could talk and discuss about this game, is there, really? Do you know what I mean?
There isn't, is there? We have got one more game. We have got one more game.
You say that, but Brighton has lost 4 games this entire season.
Yeah.
It's really tough to beat them. The only teams with less losses than them, it's Liverpool City and Chelsea. They're a really good defensive side. And Leicester's been this is out of all the games we've spoken about, this is the one that matters the least, right? Because it's 2 clubs that I really don't see fighting for anything. I think they're going to be safe when it comes to relegation. I don't see them actually going into Europe.
Well, I can see Brighton doing well. If they will do better next season if they come to us and say, "Well, look, can we have Ben White back?" And we just say, "Yeah, but you can have him." Just have Ben White. Have Ben Shite. But then again, he is better than Harry Maguire.
Oh, mate.
I'm better than Harry Maguire, mate.
Don't get me started on Harry Maguire. But yeah, I mean, those 2 clubs right there are, they're at a stage now where they've solved one part of the puzzle, so they're safe, sort of safe in that respect. So the next part is now they've got to figure out the next part of the puzzle to get them up again that few places into the places where they really want to be in and around European spots continually. But again, it is a puzzle to to try and fix. And like we say with Brighton, the disadvantage he's got is Graham Potter's relatively unknown. Brighton and Hove Albion are, you ask players around Europe, do you want to go and sign for Brighton and Hove Albion? It's like, well, who? What's that? Right.
I don't think. Sorry, Tuchel.
No. That's all I want to say.
What I was going to say, I was agreeing with obviously what you're saying, and with Graham Potter with Brighton, I think he'd be one of those managers that he can't really do anything more than Brighton than what he's actually doing. Do you know what I mean? They at the most they can most probably finish 10th. If they had a really good season, a really good season, and then that'd be it. He couldn't do any more for them because they haven't really got the money, and they don't really spend their wage limit. I think their wage bill is really low as well, in one way. So do you know what I mean? So whoever goes there, I don't think they're most probably they won't do better than Graham Potter if he does decide to leave one day and go somewhere else. Which, like Cuz said, I'm surprised. Most probably, he might end up going to bloody Newcastle for all you know. Do you know what I mean? So. Is one of those, but whoever gets the Brighton job or whatever, I don't know. But it's just nobody can do anything with them. Nobody can do that. They're a Premier League team. They're finished between 10th and 14th, and that's it. That's all you get
like
out
a Burnley.
Dude, like a Burnley. Yeah.
You take that team. You take that team. You take Graham Potter out for next season. They're going to be fighting relegation hard. That team's god awful, mate. They have 2 or 3 players that are actually good. But the rest look good because of Graham Potter. That's not a good club whatsoever, mate. And you know what? I don't even think he sucks that bad, but Ben White's showing us a little bit of that.
What sucks? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like he was good at Brighton, mate. He was good at Brighton. Now, like, he's looking a little more suspect under Arteta.
I do, to be fair to him, Ben White as well. He was good at Leeds when he was on loan there.
Yeah.
You know.
He was.
I don't think he's bad, mate. I don't think he's bad. But he's
consistent. Hold on, let's just remind ourselves here, though, that you know what, Arsenal, no matter the problems you've got, the woes you are having right at the moment, Arsenal are still a huge club. They're still a huge club, third biggest club in England. Yeah. So you know what? He's gone from, you know, a Brighton and Hove Albion, and it's gone to a massive club. You know, and again, the expectation, you feel the expectation when you go to any of those top three clubs, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal. You go to any of those clubs, that shirt's heavy. That responsibility is heavy. Yeah. He has to adjust. Yeah. He has to adjust. And I think for Ben White, you know, I think this season, improvements, you would expect. They will come, in my opinion, in pre-season and then early on next season. That's when you'll see the proper qualities of Ben White, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I just think, like, people, when he talk about it, Ben White's had a brilliant game. Yeah, he could have a good game. Do you know what I mean? But bring that into your next game after that, and so forth. Do you know what I mean? You want to do you want that. You just don't want a player to play like good won every bloody 6 games or something stupid like that. You don't need that, especially like what you just said, Talk. Being Arsenal, we're the top 13, you know, in the Premier League. Yeah. So, but you on mute, Matt.
You're muted, bro.
You want consistency, isn't it? That's what you want. Let's move on then to the last game. Then we're going to quickly pick our player of the weekend. Then we're going to wrap it up because we are well over time. It's been very, very fun today. Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 3. Another VAR ruling for a penalty, I believe, that people found was a little bit harsh on Palace, seeing as they were really trying to reach for that draw and point from it. Marley, what do you make of the game, mate? Or for the teams? What does it mean?
Didn't watch the game, but the obvious happened, dude. Liverpool's they're killing machine. Klopp's a gangster. He's one of the best managers I've ever seen, and I'm pretty sure he's still underrated, because if you think about the clubs he's managed and the results he's gotten with the competition he had in the same leagues, the same competitions, dude, it's ridiculous what he does. And the fact that he's still beating everyone without Salah and Mane, the best attacking duo in the league by far. It's so impressive, mate. It's so impressive. And Palace is not a bad club. Like, they're in an upward curve as well. I feel like they're a little overhyped as well. Patrick Vieira is not doing anything amazing, but they're looking a little more solid. They're bringing more and more exciting players. But yeah, that's it. The obvious happen.
What about you, Anthony?
Yeah, I watched from what I watched of this game. I mean, obviously, I think was it Jota got the first goal?
Probably.
I think it was Jota got the first goal. I know the ex-Arsenal player Chamberlain, he got the Liverpool second goal.
Van Dijk. I think it was Van Dijk that got the first goal for Liverpool.
Oh, was it? Oh, right. It could have been then. Yeah. So I seen Chamberlain's goal, and then my phone went, and I was chatting to someone, and then I turned around, and then Palace scored, obviously, to make it 2-1. But this was a good game. I mean, sometimes with Liverpool, when you play against Palace, it used to be a bit of their what you call their bogey team. You know, I mean, that's what Palace used to be for Liverpool. But obviously,
can you say bogey?
Yeah, it used to be Crystal Palace used to be Liverpool's bogey team.
Bogey.
Yeah. So but you know, I mean, fair play to Liverpool. It was a good game to watch, actually, entertaining. But it's like what you said, Matt. VAR, obviously, it wasn't to be in the favour of Crystal Palace at that time. So, but it's a shame, really. But they did play well in certain parts of the pitch.
Yeah, agree. Talk you. What are you making?
The penalty. I mean, the penalty for Liverpool. Soft. I mean, are you having a laugh? That was the most ridiculous. If I listen, you know what? You know all the talk. You know the clip where there's blame, there's a claim, and all that, Joss. Right? If I go out now and just like jump in front of a car, and then go, oh, yeah, run me over, I want a compensation, right? People are gonna go, yeah, you can't just jump in front of the car, mate. If the car mounted the curb and then hit me, then yeah, you've got a claim, mate. But no, and that's exactly what happened. Jota, he seen the goalkeeper coming out, and Jota changed his direction and run right into the goalkeeper.
Yeah,
it's like, well, you bollocks. It was a nonsense, mate. A total farce of a penalty. Never a penalty in 150 gazillion Zorg light years, mate. And that's a long time.
That's a long time. He knows.
I'll take your word for it, Talk. I'll definitely take your word for it, mate.
Yeah,
I think we all agree that
in the Prem is just so freaking awful. Dude. It's so crazy. Bad. It's so bad.
Inconsistent. You know, it's
so inconsistent.
The question is before I know we're going to cut it out, but quick question. I mean, is how do we fix that problem? How do we fix this? I mean, because at the end of the day, it's quite clear that some of these referees and the VAR people are not fit for purpose, because you cannot tell me that whoever's in that VAR room is not watching that back and saying to the referee, whatever his name was, Barry, whoa, no, that's not a penalty. Never. Once he's made the decision, this point to the spot, that guy in the VAR's got to say, no, that's a clear and obvious error. But yeah, Barry, it's not a penalty. Go and watch it back. He runs into the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper has to come out for the ball, but Jota has changed his direction. He actually looks at the goalkeeper and decides to go and fall onto the goalkeeper. You're like, what are you doing?
Jota loves to dive, mate. He loves to dive.
Oh,
you know what's crazy to me? Like, how can you guys be so bad at enforcing the rules of a game you made?
Well,
it makes no sense to me, mate.
Yeah, but it's all changed, isn't it, now? It's all changed.
Yeah. Mate, this is not spoken of because we played so poorly that most Arsenal fans feel like if Burnley had 6 players, we still wouldn't score because no one could shoot in that game. But, mate, the fact that Westwood wasn't sent off, from our standpoint, seeing Xhaka being sent off like twice a game for the past 5 years or so, mate, he did a challenge. Like, that was a straight red all day. If Xhaka did that, he would have gotten like 5 red cards, 4 yellow cards, 5 speed tickets,
also
an advertisement from the principal of the school, and a spanking from his grandma. Like, he would have gotten everything. What?
Did you see the Doherty in the Tottenham Chelsea game from the free kick?
No. Chelsea
had a free kick. He's literally hanging on for dear life around, who was it? I can't remember what the player. It might have been Ziyech or somebody. He's got hold of him. He's like holding on to him, and the referee's like, no, just play on. Like, this is what we're talking about. It's like, wait a minute, that decision now could have been picked up by a different referee in a much more meaningful game in terms of relegation battle. Somebody gets a penalty given against them, it sinks them, and they're doomed. Where's the consistency? There has to be, if you've got your arms around the player, more or less linking your arms around them, right? You just can't do that in football.
The only way you can do that is if you're married to him. Like, you should not be having your arms around.
Should not. You should not have your arms. I mean, okay, look, I understand. You know what? When you're playing football, you get taught very early on. You put your arms out, feel, where are they? So what? If you accidentally grab them between the legs, so what? You've got to look. You've got to feel, where are you? I know to know where you are. And the old trick is you grab hold of the shirt, you grab hold of the shorts. You know what I mean? Because you stood that close to them, you can do it without being spotted. But when you start putting your arms around players, when they're trying to get away from you, you're holding on to them and they're almost pulling you down and you're hanging on for dear life. Surely the referee's got to go, hold on a minute. No. Yeah, exactly. That's it. You know what I mean? You can't do that. That's where it has to be a penalty, because it's quite clear you're stopping that player from doing whatever it is he wants to do. It's okay marking a player and sticking with him, but that you can't hold on like that. It's an absolute craziness.
Agree. So we all agree that was a soft soft penalty, right?
Yeah.
We agree on that. Okay. Well, to finish it off, then we're gonna shout out where everybody can find you, and when you let everybody know where they can find you, shout out your player of the weekend, and also everybody for tuning in. Thank you. Subscribe, share, and like if you can. Thank you for being so patient with us. Let's start with you, Marley, mate. Your player of the weekend, and where can everybody find you, mate?
Well, I don't think I watched enough football this weekend to name a player of the weekend. He definitely wasn't playing in Arsenal versus Burnley. I can tell you that right now. But, well, just because I don't get a chance of talking about him too much, I'm not sure how well he played this weekend. I know he scored, but he's been scoring a lot of goals and adding that to the game of perhaps one of the best defensive mids in the world. I'm going to shout out Fabinho. That's yet another phenomenal Fluminense Academy player. Throwing it out there.
There you go.
And yeah, he's scoring a lot of goals recently. Impressive. I know that was a PK though. Back in his Monaco days, he was one of the best PK takers in the world. I don't know why that stopped in Liverpool. But yeah, go to the next one. You find me here. You're there. This is my home. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Follow myself on Twitter as well. And find me on S50TV. I'm there quite often as well.
Brilliant, Marley. Anthony.
All right. Yeah, player. I'm going to see the Wolves midfielder, the Portuguese one, not Ruben Neves. What's the other one?
Moutinho.
Yeah, him. Yeah, I'm gonna go him. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find me on SVT TV, Football United TV, and also you can find me on Dugout Daily.
Cheers, Anthony, and good choice for Moutinho there. Talk, what about you, mate? Favourite player of the weekend, and where can we find you, bro?
Favourite player of the weekend, I'm going to say Scott McTominay, and you can find me at iTalkMU on Twitter. You find me on the Man United agenda, and also you'll find me on here.
What's he laughing at?
I don't know.
McTominay.
Yeah, he's a great player.
He is a great player. What's wrong with him? What's wrong with him, mate? That's not right. Well, my player is going to be John Joe Shelby, only because we haven't seen him play that well for a very long time, and he bagged the goal, and he had a great performance for Newcastle, and they really did need the win. So I'm going to put him in there this weekend for player of the weekend. That's it then. That's the 4 players of the weekend. We've gone through all the games. The reason why it went on for so long is because actually for the first time in quite a while, we've had all teams play this weekend. That's the reason why this one took so very long, because usually it's about 6 or 7, but 10 today. So well done for being so patient. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Like I said, smash, subscribe, share, and like. Thank you to Marley, Anthony, and Talk for coming in. We are wrapping up. Have a pleasant rest of your week. Catch the rest of the content, and we got some very good vlogs coming up in the next few weeks. So keep your eyes peeled and stay with us and stay classy. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.